What a night at Crown Jewel! We had awesome matches, surprises and returns. And of course, history was on the line. But if you want to know what happened, let's review all of the matches right here, right now. After the kickoff, we start with official matches, and the first one being Seth Rollins facing Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I have to tell you, it was an awesome match, 30-minute match, one of the matches of the year so far. Because not only these two were great at the ring, but also told a great story in the ring. And this story has two parts. The first one being the brute force, the power of Drew McIntyre, and how Seth Rollins tried to counter every single time, but he couldn't do anything to the Scottish Warrior. Because every single thing that Seth Rollins tried did not any harm enough, at least, to Drew McIntyre. For example, a jump between the ropes for Seth Rollins was easily countered with a belly-to-belly suplex from Drew McIntyre. And also a superplex for Seth Rollins from the third rope was easily countered with a suplex from Drew McIntyre. So nothing was working for Seth Rollins, but he was hanging in there. And now the second part of the match was Drew McIntyre attacking Seth Rollins' back. He sent Seth Rollins into the steel ring steps, and then he crashed Seth Rollins' back in the border of the ring. So now, for every great story, you have to have false endings. And somehow, Seth Rollins applied a pedigree and then a stomp, but count of two only. Then it was time for Drew McIntyre who applied a Future DDT, and also count of two. Then it was time for the first Claymore of the match. And no, Seth Rollins still was alive. But then Drew McIntyre was preparing for a second Claymore. And when he was going to apply a second Claymore, boom, super kick from Seth Rollins, and then the combo of a second pedigree and a second stomp. And yes, that was finally it. It was over for Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins retained the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a great match, one of the best matches of the year so far, with great storytelling and the perfect result, because this defeat will make Drew McIntyre go crazy. At a backstage segment after the match, we saw Rhea Ripley close to Drew as if she was saying, "I told you so." So this is perfect storytelling because Drew McIntyre will join the Judgment Day. Great match. Oh, and don't forget what happened after the match, because Damian Priest tried to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase and he was robbed by Sami Zayn. And Sami ran through the WWE Universe with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Seth Rollins was just laughing in the middle of the ring. Great match, 10 out of 10. And now let's see what happened when Rhea Ripley faced Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez and Zoe Stark. What a match it was. I told you that was gonna happen. It was complete chaos, but it was really fun to watch. Because it was a match that you couldn't stop watching at any single moment. And that's the great thing about these kind of matches. Because every time that there is a count, somebody comes and breaks that count. And that happened every single time during the match. They all had their moments. At one moment it was time for Nia Jax, but then she was thrown out of the ring by all of the other competitors. I have to tell you, a great constant in the match, it was Zoe Stark. She was the MVP of this match. And of course, she also had an opportunity to win, but she didn't make it to the 3 count. A great spot in the match was one of Shayna Baszler. She tried to make tap out Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax all at the same moment. So it was a great spot, but as you can imagine, it was interrupted, of course. So getting to the final moments of the match, Rhea Ripley applied her riptide to Shayna Baszler, the count was interrupted by Zoe Stark, and then Rhea and Zoe were on top of the third row. Raquel Rodriguez tried to take advantage of that. She covered Shayna Baszler, but Mommy Rhea Ripley had other ideas in mind, and she applied her riptide from the third row to Zoe Stark, falling into the body of Raquel Rodriguez and Shayna Baszler. And that finally gave Rhea Ripley the victory. So a great win for Rhea Ripley. Her reign has to continue, and as always, Mommy is always on top. Great win for Rhea Ripley. Now let's see what happened between John Cena and Solo Sikoa. And the story of this match was John Cena first attacking Solo Sikoa's arm and thumb. That was his initial strategy, and of course avoiding the Samoan spike, and that initial strategy worked good for John Cena. But you know, Solo Sikoa is a really tough challenge, and clearly Sikoa's plan was to tire John Cena, and that was exactly what happened. After 15 minutes of the match, John had already run out of gas, and even though he tried 2 times to make Solo Sikoa tap out to his STF, he just couldn't. And sadly for John Cena's fans, he never got to apply his attitude adjustment to Solo Sikoa, because if he had done that, I believe he could have won the match. So just in the final moments of the match, you could see John Cena trying to make tap out Solo Sikoa, but Sikoa got to the ropes, and when he stood up, he surprised John Cena with his first Samoan spike. It wasn't a good one, but it was enough. And then the second one was good enough. That completely put John Cena down in the ring, but Solo Sikoa didn't end there because he continued applying several Samoan spikes. I lost the count, but probably 10 more. With that, he finally covered John, and Solo Sikoa got the victory. Good match. It was a slower match than the previous 2 that we have seen, but it was good. But you know, I think that every WWE fan would have loved to see John Cena win this match. Anyway, Solo Sikoa wins the match. Now let's see what happened between Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio, and I can tell you, probably the match of the night. When you mix the legendary talent from Rey Mysterio and the natural talent from Logan Paul, you can only have a 5-star match. And that was what we saw at Crown Jewel. A dynamic match, a fast-paced match, with little to no rest and action at every moment. Of course, Rey Mysterio bring his typical toolset, but Logan Paul made some new movements tonight. One of them being from Bruno Sammartino himself. And then, oh my god, did you see that moonsault with body slam from the 3rd rope? I never seen anybody do that. And even Wade Barrett in the comments said that he has only seen 3 people do that in his life. And now Logan Paul being the 4th. So Logan Paul was shining. Of course, Rey Mysterio tried to apply his 619, but Logan Paul knew that was gonna happen, so he countered the 619. Then another great spot was also from the 3rd rope. Logan Paul had evil plans for Rey Mysterio, but Rey countered and sent Logan Paul flying through the ring. Logan Paul landed near the other ring post, and right there was his friend hiding, and gave Logan his brass knuckles. But Logan couldn't use those in his first attempt. His friend went to recover them, but right there, Santos Escobar appeared. Went after Logan Paul's friend, but he grabbed the brass knuckles and left them in the ring, which was really suspicious. Logan Paul took advantage of that. He grabbed them, he received the 619 because he knew what was coming after that, and when Rey was flying to hit Logan with a body slam, well, you know what happened. Logan Paul hit Rey Mysterio with those brass knuckles right in the face. And that was it for Rey Mysterio. 1, 2, 3, and Logan Paul is the new US champion. You can tell me that Logan Paul cheated, but what he showed last night at Crown Jewel was probably his best performance ever. And that, combined with Rey Mysterio, made for such an entertainment and classic match. So yes, Logan Paul is a heel. He cheats sometimes to win the matches, but he has a tremendous talent. And I think that Logan Paul is gonna make wonders with that US title. So Logan Paul, the new US champion. Now let's see what's happening between Iyo Sky and Bianca Belair. And the story of the match goes like this. Iyo Sky targeting the previously injured leg of Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair applying all his strength and power. And the match went like that at all moments until Bayley started to interfere in the match. distracting the referee, and of course Bianca Belair got a nod of that and attacked Bayley outside of the ring. But what Bianca didn't notice was the return of a former NXT Women's Champion and longtime friend of Iyo Sky, Kairi Sane. And while the referee was helping Iyo Sky, the referee didn't notice that Kairi Sane started to attack Bianca Belair. And it seemed like Bianca was completely knocked out. The count of 10 started, but Bianca beat the count. But Iyo Sky was paying attention, and when Bianca re-entered the ring, Iyo Sky applied her moonsault, and with that, 1, 2 and 3, and she took the victory. But things didn't end there because Kairi Sane entered the ring, and she and Iyo Sky started to attack Bianca Belair. Interesting storyline, what's gonna happen between Iyo Sky and Kairi Sane. That should be very interesting for the coming months. For now, Iyo Sky retains the championship. Now let's see what happened between Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. And it was a brutal match from the start. Cody couldn't even start the match because Damian Priest attacked his ankle right away. They continued the fight outside of the ring, they hit each other with the ring post, they hit each other with the barricades, and then went to the announcer's table. Cody Rhodes somehow reverted the situation, he was about to apply his crossroads, but Damian Priest also reverted the situation, he applied his own crossroads. Then they went back into the ring and Damian Priest was gonna apply a second crossroads, but Cody Rhodes reverted it and finally applied his own crossroads. But at that very moment, the Judgment Day started to appear, Finn Balor came to interfere and distract the referee, and from behind, JD McDonagh attacked Cody Rhodes in the ring. And also Dominic Mysterio started to walk down the ramp with a chair in his hand. But at that very moment, Jey Uso appeared and saved Cody Rhodes, and he got rid of the Judgment Day with a single chair. So back into the action in the ring, Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest were finally alone. Cody Rhodes applied a first Cody Cutter, and then he jumped into the third rope and applied a super Cody Cutter from the third rope. And with that, and another 3 crossroads, finally Cody Rhodes ended the match and got the victory. So yeah, it was a brutal match. They both really wanted to win this match, but only room for one winner. And as the announcer said, with this victory, finally Cody Rhodes is back on his path and wants to finish his story. So Cody Rhodes wins, and now he's going to look for the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And now finally to the main event, that match between LA Knight and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. A lot of love for LA Knight at Crown Jewel and also for the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And the match happened exactly as expected, because the style that Roman Reigns brings to every single match, it's one where things go really slow at the beginning. That's his style, but LA Knight had other ideas in mind, because LA Knight started the match at 100 km per hour with all the adrenaline. He wanted that title right away. So the first 5 minutes of the match were dominated by LA Knight, and he was doing it just right. But when he was preparing the announcer's table to do something to the Tribal Chief, he lost sight of him, and that allowed Roman Reigns to make his comeback. He first threw LA Knight to the ring steps, and then he started his systematic attack to LA Knight. And that's where Roman started to slow the match, to mock the WWE Universe, to try to talk to them, while he continues his attack on LA Knight. So that second part of the match, of course, was dominated by Roman Reigns. But as you can imagine, there was a tiny mistake from Roman that actually allowed LA Knight to come back into the match. And right there, the moments of dominance started to switch between LA Knight and Roman Reigns. At one moment of the match, LA Knight jumped to the third rope and applied his superplex to Roman Reigns, but the count just went to 2. It was not enough to take down the Tribal Chief. And then you also had Roman Reigns applying his Superman punch to LA Knight, but LA Knight survived, and the Tribal Chief couldn't believe that. And after switching moments of dominance, well, it was time for the Bloodline to appear. Because Solo Sikoa started to go to the ring, the referee got distracted, and from behind Jimmy Uso attacked LA Knight. But LA Knight somehow got rid of Jimmy Uso, but that caused him a distraction, and Roman Reigns applied another Superman punch outside of the ring. And then he led LA Knight to the ring, and it was time, yes, for the first thunderous spear. And if you thought that was the end of LA Knight, no! LA Knight survived that spear, and then Roman Reigns had other ideas in mind because he started to apply his submission maneuver to LA Knight. And LA Knight was starting to fade away, but with the last energy that he had, he carried Roman and dropped him into the ropes, and that window of opportunity allowed LA Knight to apply his BFT. And yes, it was 1, 2, and no! Jimmy Uso put Roman Reigns' foot in the ropes. So once again, the Tribal Chief was lost and then was saved by the Bloodline. LA Knight couldn't believe it, and he went after Jimmy Uso. He started hitting his head into the announcer's table, and then the Tribal Chief came, and LA Knight started doing the same with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And then LA Knight sent Roman Reigns into the ring post. Jimmy Uso tried to apply a super kick, but LA Knight avoided that, and then crashed Jimmy Uso into the announcer's table. LA Knight took a little rest on the barricade, but oh no, why did you do that? Because the Tribal Chief hit a running spear through the barricade. And with that, Roman Reigns grabbed LA Knight, sent him to the ring, and applied a third thunderous spear to LA Knight. And yes, that was finally it. The count of 3, and history prevails. The Tribal Chief remains on top of the mountain. Yeah, of course, with some help by the Bloodline. But that was expected, and that was I told you at the predictions video. Because you cannot lose sight of the biggest storyline in WWE, and that is WrestleMania 40. That is the main event of WrestleMania 40, and that means Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. So yeah, I wanted LA Knight to win, but I was objective with the storyline in mind. So anyway, a great match from LA Knight. Hopefully, just great things for him from here. But as I said, history prevails, and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns is still the undisputed WWE Champion. So overall, in average, I would say this was an 8 out of 10 pay-per-view, because it had a really great beginning with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, and a great ending with LA Knight and Roman Reigns. And all the matches in the middle, no one really disappointed, and we had another awesome match between Logan Paul and Rey Mysterio. Now finally having a new era on the United States Championship. So in summary, it was a really great pay-per-view. I really love Crown Jewel, but how about you? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about every single match. And well, the most important question, do you agree that Roman Reigns is still the undisputed WWE Champion? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's talk about it. And that's it for today. If you like, please share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.